Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Astrobots issue number 2 from Whatnot Publishing, made by Simon Furman and Hector Trunnec. I had a blast with this one, and we're going to continue the story. So let's go. So we see this robot here, and of course the first thing what people do, and I did exactly the same, is say, hey, we got another Transformers-like comic. But that is not the case. There are similarities here, but this is not a Transformers book at all. So this very cute looking robot, with a cute face, is helping these humans to, how do you say, what's the word? They've been in cryosleep, hypersleep, or whatever word you can imagine. And they've come out of it, and she's helping to, help them walk again, and other stuff. And so I thought, hey, okay, this is a cool character. There are more. So they're coming from the lift down below, and they are, try to walk and do other stuff to have mobility functions again, maybe some mental stuff as well. And this ship has, I believe, this is a colony-based ship, and they're coming to this planet, and then we see this robot again. So it seems that there's multiple robots that look the same, or they have the same personalities, or they can transfer or split their personalities into other robots, but I'm not entirely sure, which is pretty cool. And So she says, the others simply accept that our long journey is finally over. And on the surface, colony worlds TS Modern Metropolis Atlas City appears utterly fit for repopulation. I, though, take nothing at face value. By its very nature, anything this good is too good to be true. So she's being interrupted by Xenophanes, which is a very cool name, and she is called Athena. And he says, hey, to the east, something the Persephone's long-range sensors cannot penetrate. So this is the Persephone's ship. And he says, odd, perhaps the bot in charge calls himself Atlas, can allay and remaining qualms with sending down an ambassadorial party. So yeah, they eventually need to go down for, repopulation and all that stuff. I mean, that's the whole thing, since Earth is now gone. And so she's scanning the surface here, and she says that, it looks good, but what is below the surface? So what's happening there? So we just see this cool looking robots. I mean, I love the designs, by the way, and I'm going to show you a couple off here in this comic. So we have these robots that are not happy with things are going in Atlas City. I'm not calling them the Resistance, but for now they probably are. And they want to have some changes, and they see I believe the main protagonist, called Apollo. He came in the city last issue, so this guy here on the front, and there were some things starting going on. Check it out if you want to know what's going on. It's great video, by the way. I made it myself. So, and then we go to so basically they want to recruit Apollo. He says, so this guy says, also cool design, and he says, in our favor, Vulcan, the bots aboard the Persephones are being cagey. They want assurances. That buys us time, but not much. So basically they want to look out for him and recruit him for the cause. And then, so we have Atlas looking at the footage from, the last issue. And he says, Apollo 08 first, accept my humble apologies for your rough and ready treatment earlier. Argus here can be a little bit overzealous when it comes to matters of security. Can't you? Yeah, that's me. Careful to all faults. So yeah, Argus here is the, chief of police force, I guess. And Argus, he comes from somewhere else, right? He says, I survived worse. Clearly because here you are. Weren't you Apollos made for with a kind of inbuilt obsolescence? Is that how you say it? Obsolescence? Probably. Deactivate, that kind of thing? Maybe. Job's not done yet. All right. So there is some similarities here when it comes to Autobots and Decepticons. I'm going that over a little bit later. But for now, he says, Apollo says, had Atlas bots on our mission, but nothing like you. Well, you see, I'm a survivor. My journey from there to here necessitating certain upgrades along the way. So like I said, there's multiple robots, but it seems that they have their own personalities. And this one, Atlas, has upgrading himself and is now chief in command, the leader of Atlas City. And at first glance, his motivations are altruistic. That's he cares for the city, the beings in there, and also for the mission. Coming that to bed a little bit later too. So he says, now I'm given to understand you have urgent news to impart. I do. First off, there are any actual colonists here or just Astrobots? So Atlas says just Astrobots, but he also says that there's an Earth vessel in the orbit carrying 50,000 evacuees. And he says, well, we expect a delegation shortly. Why? Tell him to stand fast for now. Got a map of the city and the surrounding regions? Of course. So, and then he is showing the dead zone. He says, what of it? There's nothing of any note. Now perhaps, but there was a city, an Astrobot city. And I'm not telling you anything you didn't already know. Am I? All right, what's going on here, right? So, and then we see Athena, I believe, if I remember it correctly. She is more like a pacifist, but she is also a warrior, and because her function is nurturing the humans and, also, psychic evaluation and all that stuff, helping the humans. But she has also a different side, right? Looks cool. So she's being interrupted by the other guy, which name I forgot, which is a very cool name. And so both Astrobots have a chat with each other. And he says, unseen circumstances requiring trenchant solutions. I sense a kindred spirit, Apollo, not averse to harsh realities and harsher remedies. So he seems, like I said, the resemblance between with the Transformers franchise. I mean, it feels a little bit, although different. We have Megatron and, our favorite hero, Autobot. Why am I forgetting the most important Autobot ever? What? I'm just blanking. That's stupid. Yeah. Optimus Prime, Jesus. And so he says, let's not talk about the dead zone. And let's, have some discretion here. And then we talk about it later. And he says, the hows and the whys need not concern of you. Only that lessons were learned and steps taken to ensue. It could never happen again. He's talking about what happened in the dead zone. So that piqued my interest, right? And so he asked Apollo to join him because they are humanity's last hope, and he feels responsible for that. And he says, together we can usher in a bold era for human race. And Apollo says, well, honestly, I'm not much of a joiner. And frankly, the stuff here that doesn't add up. I mean, militarized, weaponized Astrobots, it runs contrary to our whole founding ethos of do no harm. See? And then we have all this evil-looking face. Like I said, there's something going on with this Atlas guy. And cool designs, by the way. I mean, look at this back here and in the front of and back of Apollo. I don't know. It's designs that tickles my fancy. And the art looks really good, in my opinion. And the colors do it very justice. It complements each other very well. And so Apollo says, I appreciate the offer, but all things being equal, I figure I'd just be moving on. I see. Pity. We are both survivors of a trauma so deep few, if any, could begin to grasp its aftershocks. I hoped, well, basically he hoped that he would join him, but he says, well, never mind. And then he say, hey, just you can go on your way and stick around. But then he is calling Argus, and he says, follow him, find a quiet spot, and, well, I leave Apollo's fate entirely in your hands, Argus. Well, it seems a little bit weird because he's not out of the building and he's all talking to Argus. And not sure if Apollo heard him, etc. And why am I blanking on the stupid names? Jesus Christ. Athena, that's the one. She's studying what's happening in last issue, and she sees something in this guy. He's there's something going on the surface planet. And also, all these robots are talking, of course, what happened not so long ago, and people are they mostly peaceful, but there's stuff happening in the city that is not very good. And then there's some robot coming out of nowhere, and he's been immediately being attacked by the military forces. So what's going on, right? And I believe the narrative here is Atlas. I'm not entirely sure because I know these defensive military robots are just bullying or terrorizing citizens here, I think. And look at this, man. So the narrative says something as a problem arises that just seems to require a personal touch. So then Argus comes in, cleansing detail, move in. Time to take out the trash. Like I said, the designs, the colors, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying this. And then we see this scene here with the truck here. So the narrative continues, my job is to keep the peace, which something means waging war on the insurgents, the firebrands, the malcontents and dissidents, anyone with an altruistic axe to grind and not to wit to keep it sheathed. I'm a surgeon, cutting away at necrotic tissue around the healthy, beating organ. That is Atlas City. I like to say I feel remorse, fangs of conscience, and suffer my sins accordingly. I'm sorry, but that just isn't true. All right, sharp writing. I like that. So Argus forces are closing in, and then we see Apollo, and he is well, we can continue that a little bit later. So Persephone's crew, with Xenophans here, he's being greeted by Senator Stradica, and Athenia's here, and Stratus and Lyral, I guess, new robots, and they are being greeted by Atlas. And he says, a monumentous day. Everyone endeavor, every milestone reached, every challenge surmounted has been building to this Odyssey's end. And for humankind, a new beginning. He's slick, that guy. So he says, I'm Atlas, your and their humble host. So Athenia says, a little presumptuous, isn't it? I beg your pardon. Calling it Atlas City, other Astrobot series toiled and even gave their lives to dig its foundations and sink its piles. So the other one chimes in and says, hey, maybe you shouldn't. And he says, nonsense, I admire her. Pluck. Tell me, Athenia, do you not share a common goal? Do you not hope for the best? Most definitely. But I expect the worst. So he's stunted by that comment, and he says, ha ha ha, I like you, Athenia. You and I may have more in common than you realize. Isn't that what you said against Apollo? You rat. So Apollo comes here and he asks this robot, says, hey, I'm lost. Maybe you can point me the way to the exit. And then this robot wants to, he says, yeah, I'm going to do that, but I have some friends that I'd like you to introduce. So, from the insurgents, I'm not sure, the rebels, let's call it that. But then company, and the company is none other than, our not so friendly guy here. And Apollo says, the hell, which is a modern slang. It doesn't really suit here, thousands of years in the future, I guess, on a planet that has been inhabited by robots. Hell is a human word and not, robots don't go to hell, and it's religion based, so it doesn't really fit. But, you know, I just forgive it for now. Like I said, I love the designs. So Argus is here, and they so the rebels are starting to shoot at Argus forces. And he says, but then it seems that there was a trap, and Apollo and this robot is being boxed in. But then Argus, he's a pretty strong one. So he takes a truck, and as you see from above here, which looks really cool, he is shoving this truck to Argus' other forces, closing it in and ram it in immediately to him. Look at this, Dan. This looks fantastic. And and Argus says, hey, he's one bot. Put him down. Contain, immobilize, incapacitate. Oh, well, so much for small talk. Like I said, Apollo is very strong. Argus doesn't like that. Apollo, you walking relic, outmoded, redundant, obsolete. Consider this a simple case of retirement. Long overdue. Next time, shoot first, pontificate later. And he gets a beam in his face. And so they escape. Look at his angry face. And so they escape, and this whole thing crashes down. And so the other robot says, friends, my name is Vulcan. Now you have seen firsthand the true face of Atlas City. I believe we can help each other. That's so. Well, as I've got no particular place to be right now, lead on. Everyone calm. There is nothing to worry about. Atlas, we need to talk. And that concludes this issue, and that leads on to the next one. I like this. I like this very much. You know, this, like I said, there's some Transformers things going on, and I believe Astrobots is building their own universe in a different way that I'm really, really interested in. Also, I'm also into this 7-inch figure with, you know, glowing robot eyes, and I'm really struggling not to buy it because I don't buy merchandise, you know, figures, although I just bought a Green Lantern figure, so it's coming soon. Because I buy comics, right? A lot. So if I'm going to do this, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm not going to stop because I want to have the other one and then the next one and then the other one, you know. But this really seems a fun, very articulate robot, right? It's not cheap. I believe it's between $50 and $80. It depends on where you can get it. Some covers here. Yeah, great stuff. I enjoy it very much. Guys, let me know what you think about this comic and this review. And see you next time. Bye-bye.